going back to the AP release.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you guys feel about it?
So, I'll say this. I didn't when I first saw that everyone was just talking about one watch. They were talking about the John Mayer.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit. But go ahead.
They were talking about the John Mayer.
Yes.
And when I saw it, listen, it's a nice watch. I like it. It's great.
Yes.
I was disappointed a little bit.
Totally.
Yes.
Creative conduit for what?
I think he's just going to be allocating
So
watches.
watch they were gonna drop anyway. The custom dial Perpetual. Who didn't see that coming?
Crazy.
My exact words in the bungalow were Stevie Wonder could have saw that coming.
That's hilarious.
It was I was so upset the whole day because of this.
I was upset for a while too until I saw the other release.
The things that it
they did.
overshadowed that were actually fire.
Crazy stuff.
Yes.
The skeleton tourbillon in sand gold.
Pass on that for me.
That's fire.
It looks like steel.
No.
Yes.
So I'm gonna see this in person in a week,
And
I'll report back.
Put it next to any white metal that they have.
Sure.
They look the exact same.
I got to see this in person. I thought they did a great job with the codes. I like the new code Chronos.
Yes.
I thought those are fire.
White gold code's gone. What's that about?
Is it gone?
Yeah.
Discontinued.
According to Mark, it is.
That's crazy.
Wow.
There were some sleepers in there too. There was a 34 millimeter rose gold with
Pink
a
dial?
coral dial.
Sign me up.
That's his.
Crazy.
Sign me up.
That was one of Ben's
Yo,
favorites.
in a heartbeat.
That was fire.
In a heartbeat. It was my favorite watch until I saw the gray dial blue rubber bezel offshore.
You really like that?
Yes. That watch banged.
What's with you in blue dials now?
No, it's not a blue dial. It's gray.
It's gray?
Yeah, the bezel's blue. Different. Whole different ballgame. I'd rock that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Black strap.
It's weird.
No, it's fire. It's the perfect beach watch.
Okay.
Beach, gym, on the motorcycle,
What's
riding the bike.
the case size?
43, I think.
It's crazy.
It's fine.
Yeah. What about you? What was your favorite?
You know, I didn't want to say I like the John Mayer, but I did like the
It's
John
okay if you like the John Mayer.
Mayer. I did like the John Mayer. The other pieces were really, really great. You know, I think, you know, AP and AP fashion just like coming through with the bangers. You know, them actually standing a little bit more behind the code, which we seen a little bit of that when they were introducing the Star Wheel and bringing it back, right? Because I think it's very important to be able to diversify and like open it up, especially to focusing on women pieces.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, they had did that whole like collection there. So I think AP, you know, they definitely on the right track. And I think they're working to service every like demographic and consumer in their line.
Yeah.
So I think from, you know, a broad perspective of it all, I love them all. My favorite, sadly, was the John Mayer.
Listen, I think it's fire. He's alone on an island. Listen,
I don't think I am.
I thought it was fire. I think
Yes.
it's a great piece.
Yes.
What I'm more curious about is, all right, so Francois just saw he left.
Yes.
The new CEO, I believe her name is pronounced Ilaria. I might be mispronouncing that. She comes in. You got, you know, Travis Scott on the exit with Francois.
Yes.
John Mayer on the entrance with Ilaria.
Yes.
What does this mean for the brand going forward? Right. These are two like huge releases.
Yes.
Really just a couple of months apart. So many people have already, you know, been concerned of the fact that like this is like a celebrity's brand.
Yes.
What does this mean going forward now that your creative conduit is a big time celebrity musician? Granted, also known as like a really big watch collector, could very well be seen as like the Paul Newman of like our era.
Yes.
I don't think that's
Paul
too far-fetched.
Newman. Paul Newman's famous for one watch.
And up until recently, John Mayer was, right? Like we had the John Mayer Daytona.
But he's known
And
for
now-
wearing and owning a lot of watches.
So, yes,
Newman was
one watch.
Daytona.
But I'm just talking about in terms of like his positioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
What does this mean potentially for the brand going forward what does this also mean for the John Mayer Daytona, right? Which is like the cultural nickname for it.
Yeah.
But now AP is like, no, this is our
This
guy.
is the John Mayer.
This is the John
Perpetual
Mayer.
that he designed with us.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you think that this John Mayer creative conduit thing is still a part of Francois' regime?
I would be willing to
think
bet
it's
that
too
it is.
It's for Alari.
I think that this was already like part of the plan, and this is
Yeah, I think she
Boom.
may have inherited that.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
And then I mean, I think moving forward we can expect more things like this, right?
Yeah.
Travis, John Mayer, who could be next?
Kevin Hart.
Maybe. I mean, that would make total sense. You got two musicians, get a big time comedian and
Yeah.
entertainer in there.
Yeah.
Give him a piece of the pie.
Mm.
Go back to an athlete, maybe.
Yeah.
Serena definitely deserves one.
I can see LeBron getting one.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron had one, Shaq had one. I don't.
Maybe Rick Ross.
I hope so. Green ceramic
Right?
from oh my god, Miami Hurricane colors.
Woo.
Orange seconds hand.
Crazy.
They gotta pay me consultation fee. There you go.
Facts.
The only thing I got a little beef too with this because they dropped a white camo ceramic watch and then said, "Oh, this isn't for sale. We're just showing you what we can do."
Right.
Waste.
Yeah.
And then I haven't heard as much outrage about a John Mayer Perpetual as I did Travis Scott.
Yes.
And Travis Scott is arguably, I think, most people would say
Cooler
was
watch.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
And they're both expensive as hell.
Yes.
Doesn't
they're
make
both
sense. Why?
over $200,000.
200 units for $180,000 for the John Mayer. 200.
I mean, they're essentially the same watch. They're just in different cases. It's the same combination.
Yeah.
And you have to think like, we know we have friends and people who have bought steel and titanium jumbo perpetuals from AP.
Right.
That's like the thing that they're known for. That's like everyone's like, if I'm going to get a perpetual, it needs to be that.
Yeah.
They're $80,000.
Mm.
With the price increases right around 100
Yeah.
for both steel and titanium, that doesn't make sense for the materials.
Mm.
Why the hell are these watches that are not ultra thin?
Yeah.
One's on a strap, and the other one is just a hunk of platinum. Why is it $200,000?
Yeah.
I'm not understanding that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the pricing strategy is interesting.
You have to think, if they said they made 200 of each watch,
Sure.
200 John Mayers, 200 Travis Scott Perpetuals. Is there more than 200 titanium and steel jumbos floating out there?
Doubt it.
I'm hard pressed to think so.
Yeah.
So I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think that this is clearly
Another conspiracy theory.
it's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely a brand move, right? It's them trying to position themselves for the future. I do think it was smart on their behalf to snatch up John Mayer in this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think moving forward, there might be some cool stuff.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm curious what creative conduit means. To me, it just kind of sounds like a famous allocator.
Sure.
What were your thoughts?
So to that point, I like how you guys enjoy, John Mayer coming on as creative conduit, right? But I think it's the opposite.
Okay.
I think that this might have been a little too late. I think John Mayer should have been on board with this a long time ago. What I'm afraid of is now that Francois is out, will they still have that association with the culture that we know and love, right? Because they can turn around and use this and beat the dead horse, And in that, right, there's ways to do it right because you guys are AP, but then there's other ways to do it very wrong because you are AP. And excuse me, the way that people responded to the Travis watch, it almost was something that was in that space of doing wrong amongst the consumers. Sure. We loved it as purists and knowing what's going on, but I think for others, if they don't find a way to make it as raw and organic as it can be, I think it will get very gimmicky and clickbaity.
Sure.
Or oversaturated.
No, I understand that. And I think in many ways, this creative conduit role could also, it might be their way of hoping that he serves a purpose in helping them avoid that.
Yes.
How I would like to see them use John Mayer, as much as I like the piece, even though some people don't like it. I would have liked to see them use John Mayer in a way where they would introduce maybe a brand new timepiece.
Yes.
Bring back the millinery.
Something.
Make the millinery great again.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's in the cards. You know, maybe this is a start to get people sort of acquainted with John Mayer, working with them in this fashion, which I totally get that strategy too.
Yeah.
Royal Oak first, right? And then maybe you come through with something later, a little more subtle,
Yes.
right? Maybe something a little more dressy, maybe something that's not a code. Maybe there's something that harkens on what they did in the past or something completely new.
Yes.
Because chances are, if you can do that with John Mayer, yes, it'll get attention, but maybe people will actually want to get it on their wrists.
Yeah, I see, but that's why I think they should have gone the opposite. Something that maybe they want to bring more attention to, maybe a whole new watch, maybe bring back something they haven't done in a long time.
Sure.
And have him kind of design it for
Yeah.
what a modern collector would
But
want.
let's be honest, if you get the opportunity to design your first Royal Oak, your first AP,
I'm not picking a Royal Oak.
I would pick a Royal Oak.
I'd go millinery. I love that K shape.
I feel you, but
Or
I'm doing
even
Royal Oak.
if I did a Royal Oak to start, it would be like one of those crazy concept ones with like the frosted gold cases,
Sure.
with the integrated rubber straps. It wouldn't be a normal Royal Oak.
No, I feel you.
And like I think that's kind of where I think going perpetual Royal Oak was a cop out,
Yeah.
especially for John Mayer. Like he's proven to be such a collector of taste in terms of everything, of clothing, of watches, of shoes, guitars.
Yeah, he
I
even
think
collects fucking Visvim.
I think the Royal Oak is a total cop out.
Yeah. Well,
I think having them on board is great.
sure.
But the Royal Oak as the John Mayer watch, I
Right.
think was it's a little silly.
Yeah. Well, only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see.